I'm Rich Reinecke. I'm the president of Fahrenheit Advisors, and today I am glad to be joined by Mike Duncan, who leads part of our finance and accounting practice area, and Melody Donovan-Hopkins, who leads part of the human capital practice. Um, the conversation I wanted to have today sort of centers around our fractional services, or that approach to our business. And we're seeing more companies, especially those that are scaling quickly, run into complexity as they grow. And leadership teams are trying to balance this sort of strategic priorities while building the infrastructure of a business and make the things that run go better. And I think that's exactly where fractional services sort of come into play for us, right? So when we're talking about this, I'd love to hear from you. What is it that causes an organization to think, I need to address these challenges? What are the first things that we're starting to see companies call us with?
I think it's the not having any type of dedicated HR support, realizing that there's a lot of regulatory compliance concerns. Maybe it's some of the pay transparency, new laws that are surfacing. Obviously, we've got 12 states as of July 1 that are going to have pay transparency laws. And so a lot of these organizations have employees in different states. Yeah. And so it's impacting them.
What about from a finance and accounting?
Yeah, from finance and accounting, I think really it's sophistication, and most companies have someone doing some sort of accounting type activities, but they may not have the level that we can offer in terms of like a controller or CFO, where they can come in and really elevate the organization to solid internal controls, better financial reporting, better systems and tools. So there's a lot of different components and pieces that our folks can bring to the table that maybe their in-house people don't have the knowledge base of.
It's interesting, in both of these scenarios, I think the word visibility sort of comes top of mind to me. Like, you really, as you scale, you need to really understand what's happening in accounting and finance. What are the numbers? And then from a people perspective, having more clarity around what's happening in your team, right?
Absolutely. It's also having an awareness of impacts, right? And thinking through, whether it's employee relations issues, whether it's systems, whether it's the need to, I realize I've got 35 employees, and what am I going to be able to do now in terms of, I have to pay folks, I have to have a payroll system, I need a tracking system, I need compliance, I need to make sure that we have a performance management system. So all of these factors play into the visibility piece.
Yeah. So as companies are scaling, they don't always want to start hiring a lot of highly compensated executives, which is sort of the reason why fractional exists. So what does the term fractional really mean? When people use that, what are they getting?
Sure. They're getting an experienced HR. In the case of human capital, they're getting an experienced human capital practitioner or human resource practitioner without having to pay the high salary, the benefits, the bonus package. They're getting someone with a great deal of expertise and experience.
Yeah, and same on the finance and accounting folks. I mean, our people have decades of experience. They've all been in those controllership roles or those CFO roles. They've closed the books for, years, and they know what good processes look like. They know how good procedures can transform that, financial reporting function so that the business owners can make those decisions and make those changes. People that are at, lower level revenues and grow into double digit revenues, they need different tools and different processes in those places. So
that's right. Interestingly, I think we hear lots of objections to lots of solutions out there, right? And fractional certainly has plenty of objections, but is fractional hiring a fractional resource a compromise to a full-time employee? How do you view that?
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a compromise. I think it's a tool to use your organization to grow and to get into that next level. And then, once they get to a certain size, then they can hire a full-time resource, but it gets them to that next stage and that next level. It's hard to put that person in and fully utilize them if you're not ready for that, full-time role. And so we can come in at, a day a week, 2 days a week, and get them to the next stage. And maybe that's a year, maybe that's 2 or 3 years, but that gets them to the next level of company that they want to be at. And then they can go on and hire their full-time resource.
Also, I would add on to that to say that, not only is it giving them that opportunity to bring in that experienced resource, but also it's giving them the opportunity to maybe have that experienced expertise to say, this is where I think you need to focus. Or, maybe there's an opportunity here with a particular process or a particular policy that maybe we need to expand on, without having to say, okay, we're going to bring in a full-time resource and they're going to be able to do X. This is being able to leverage our expertise.
Yeah. I also find when we're engaged, we're allowing our clients not to hire ahead of the curve, right? I mean, whether they could afford a CHRO or a CFO isn't so much the question as, is it the right solution for where they are today in that stage of growth, right? Because even if they can afford the resource, they may not they may not be able to really fully utilize the capabilities of the skill set. And having that fractional approach allows you to really get exactly what you need in the dose you need it today. And in a firm like ours, it's the ability to leverage these other teammates, right? Maybe you can talk about some examples of where that has occurred.
Sure, absolutely. In the case of leveraging a fractional resource, maybe there's an opportunity to leverage our compensation team, provide some benchmarking or compensation analyses, or maybe it's an opportunity to pull in some, whether it's team effectiveness or pulling one of our coaches, being able to maybe it's a new leader simulation opportunity.
Yeah, and same on our side. We've pulled in like project management folks to help with new system implementations and selection, and we've pulled in folks for internal controls or audit functions, or our tax team in specific circumstances, because they need really good advice, in those areas.
Yeah. What's the life cycle of a fractional relationship look like?
I think it really varies. Our fractional relationships, some of them have gone on for 10 plus years. They've stayed a certain size and they really want to utilize somebody that's just 1 day a week. And so they do that, and they've stayed at that consistent size. So that really continues to work for them. Other companies, like I mentioned, we've come in for maybe just a year period, or, even interim basis and serviced while they, found another resource to backfill a position, or we got them to a level where they're happy and they've got a project done. They got a new system implemented.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just need ad hoc. They just want someone that they can pick up the phone and call and have some sort of guidance.
Yeah. Well, I know we're talking fractional specifically today, but I think fractional relationships also allow us to see these other things that are going on within an organization, and us to then apply other project-based solutions. Or maybe they need to hire somebody, and we can, apply our executive search team to help them find the right long-term full-time resource. Maybe are there some common themes you see happening in your clients where you've been able to apply those other solutions?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when we have, if we're in a fractional relationship, a lot of times a client may identify that, we are going to need someone full time, or maybe we need an HR business partner to step in. We have your expertise as it relates to a CHRO role, but maybe we need an HR business partner, and we help them facilitate that. Or in the case of executive search and recruitment, maybe it's they want an HR director, and then we can leverage our executive search folks who can run in tandem and parallel with us. Yeah. On the fractional side.
I often find that, we have this incredible team. They can do so many different things across, the office of the CFO, office of the CHRO, but only when we have a great client relationship set up, right? So, maybe talk about, how do organizations really set this kind of scenario up for the greatest success? What do you need from a client to really take things to another level?
Yeah, I think from a client perspective, just that like you said, great relationship. So open, honest, communicative, regular check-ins and updates, meeting with them and saying, what is that you need? What are you not getting from your reporting, from your people right now that is not working for you? And then trying to go solve those problems and fix that for them. And, that also creates a partnership with their team. So their team has to want to work with us, because we've got to get information and data out of their team and their systems. So partnering with them and making sure that we have a healthy relationship with them to get back to the owner, is important for all of us.
Yeah, building on that relationship, regular check-ins, status updates, very important.
You just said something I feel like we should touch base. The team has to also be open to accepting, this relationship with somebody bringing your kind of expertise to the table. Why should they have no fear about us being there?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing about Fahrenheit Advisors. We are not there to take anyone's job. We don't want to come in and take a role of theirs. We are there simply to assist and help and provide, newer, better solutions that involves them, that they're going to be part of. They are an important part of the team, and so and the business owner helps share that vision with them. That hey, this is a consulting group that can come in and help us. And so as long as everybody understands that relationship, then normally things go really, really well for us and for them.
Yeah, we're operators by trade. So we step in as an operator, want to facilitate, support our clients to the best of our ability.
Yeah. Well, you used a term that we throw around here quite often. We're operators, right? An operator to me means we have been the controller or the HR leader, the CFO, the compensation expert within the four walls of an organization. We've sat in those seats, right? Versus being consultants where we're really smart people and we bring reports to the table for you to then implement. We're sort of a magical, we have both that kind of expertise where we can give you the roadmap, but we don't just hand it over to you. We actually implement it and oftentimes run it alongside you. Is that pretty much correct?
Execution.
Yeah,
Execution.
absolutely.
All right. So if you wanted our clients or folks out there thinking about, having somebody like you join their team on a fractional basis, what's a parting bit of advice you would give?
Been there, done that. We can easily step in 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it might be. Maybe it's project-based, maybe it's ad hoc.
Yeah.
But we've been there, done that, and absolutely can step in and support.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say to kick things off, like have a meeting with us. Just take that initial meeting. Let's have a conversation. Let's identify what's working and what's not working. And then we can provide solutions, ideas, concepts of what we can work on. And then we can go from there.
I've always said for 16 years, it all starts with a telephone call, right? We just have to have a conversation around your business and what you're seeing. We can't sell the problem. The problem either exists or it doesn't exist. We can provide solutions, but it starts with a conversation. So great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.